Welcome to my show. I'm with a guest here. Her name is Katharine Giovanni. Katharine, how are you doing, ma?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
All right, ma. Firstly, we know you are an award-winning, best-selling author of 12 books, and you are also a dynamic speaker and a trainer and an advisor recognized as one of the original founder of independent concrete industry. Please, ma, can you walk us through your journey, how you made it, and the struggles and the challenges you had, and how you are doing currently now, ma?
I am one of the founders of the independent concierge industry. You're very used to hearing about concierge in hotels. And in about 1998, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, a long time ago, I got into the concierge industry and very quickly realized there were no classes, no books, no anything in those days. And we barely had computers. So I wrote a book called The Concierge Manual, and the rest is kind of history. One thing led to another. I started an association, and then COVID hit, and I had to close the association down, as many people did. And I decided to semi retire so I could concentrate on my books. And now I'm talking about the power of forgiveness.
All right, ma. Please,
Um,
okay. All right, ma. Can you explain how you survive how you survive the three breast cancer? And can you also explain to us how you overcome a turbulent childhood and a suicide attempt, ma?
my journey started I come from a very dysfunctional family filled with alcohol. Um, in When I was in the eighth grade, I was getting terribly bullied in school, like badly bullied in school, because I was different. And my parents were getting a horrible divorce, and I tried to commit suicide. So I turned into one of those angry teenagers. You know who I'm talking about, the really angry teenagers. And I kind of stayed like a little thundercloud for a very long time, straight through my teen years and the beginning of my 20s, and then my mother got sober and we became best friends for 3 years, and then she got breast cancer and she died. And so for 3 years I had my best friend. And I realized after she died that, I went through a mourning period and I had no friends, and I was going from my apartment to work to apartment to work. I didn't really have a life. And I knew that if I didn't do something, I was going to die just like my mother did. So I decided that I needed to lose the anger. But everybody tells you need to forgive your pastor, your parents. Everybody says it some of the time you're a little child. Nobody tells you how. And what if you don't want to? What if it's somebody you just don't want to forgive? Maybe they're unforgivable. You don't want to. There's people listening to this broadcast who are thinking, oh, I don't want to. I didn't either. So I kind of just started giving it words. I just started saying the words, I forgive you, because in deep down inside my soul, I knew that really was the only way to lose the anger. So you fast forward until, I kind of bumbled through life. I started the concierge industry. My life got better. I got married. I've been married for 32 years now. And then I got hit with breast cancer in 2012. And, I got hit with breast cancer in 2012, and everything kind of fell apart. And I can't control what life throws at me, but I sure can control how I get through it. So I was sick for 4 years, and I'm now cancer free for 12 years, which is great. And after that, I discovered the secret behind forgiveness. I discovered that it, the, in my world, if you have somebody who's unforgivable, and everybody does, there's that one person that you're thinking about right now, and so is every listener thinking, I don't want to forgive them. I'm probably the only one on the planet that's going to give you permission. You don't have to forgive them. You don't have to. It's fine. There's other things you can forgive before you get to that dumpster fire, before you even get to that horrible whatever it is. So in my world, I want you to start with the easy ones. And in my book, the Ultimate Path to Forgiveness, I have a step-by-step process that will help you forgive everybody in your life. It it doesn't mean they were right. It does not. You don't have to reach out and talk to them if you don't want to. You can do it in the privacy of your own home or under a tree. It doesn't matter. It means that you want them out of your head. When you see their name on a piece of paper, you run into them at the store, you want to stop thinking about them. You want to stop thinking about the memory. You want them out of your head. This process will get them out of your head, and it will get them out of your head permanently. So they actually stay forgiven. So the next time you see them, you're not going to just think bad thoughts about them, and it's all going to come roaring back. Next time you meet them, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be sad. You're not going to be mad. You're going to be neutral. You're not going to care. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for neutrality. I don't want you to care. And it doesn't mean you have to, it doesn't mean they were right. I can't say that enough. It just means you want them out of your head. That's all it means.
All right, Ma. Thank you very much for that, Ma. And also, I would like to ask, like, can you just, explain to us, your experience, how you personally survived, and what do you think forgiveness is? Like, in your own understanding, personally, what can you define? What can you say forgiveness is, Ma?
Forgiveness is loving yourself. Forgiveness is selfish. Forgiveness is something you do for you. You don't do it for anybody else. You don't have to tell anybody else. Forgiveness is only for you because you're the prisoner. You're the one who's thinking about them all the time. Let me give you a visual. Let's say this is my anger, and I have filled this glass with anger and for years. Now, when I'm first angry at somebody, I can hold it off to the side really easily. Look at me. I can talk to you. I can see opportunities real easy because, oh yeah, I got this. I'm mad at him, but I can kind of stuff it in the back of my head. The longer I hold on to this anger, the more it's going to affect my life. Now look at my body language. And for those listening, I'm holding a glass in front of my face. Um, I can't see you. I can't see any opportunities. I can't see a new job opportunity. So I'm probably going to start missing some financial opportunities. I can't see anything. All I'm focusing on is anger. I'm losing friends at this point because all I'm focused on is my anger. All I'm talking about is my anger. And even if I spin the story funny, I'm still talking about the anger. I'm still talking about that memory. And I'm reliving it over and over again. And it's affecting my health because anger is toxic. It's going to make you sick. Why? Because all you're focused on is your anger. You're not eating right. You're not sleeping right. So my way of forgiveness is going to allow you to put the glass down. So I want everybody listening to write down a list of all the people, places, and things. I did say places and things. Stay with me on that. Of who you think you're mad at. And then I want you to rate them from 1 to 10. 10 being awful, 10 being the worst thing ever. And then I want you to start with the number ones. I want you to start with the easy ones. The kid who tripped you in the hallway in school. Start with that person. The person who stole your homework or cheated off your paper. Start with that person. Your little brother who took the snack that you wanted, forgive them, your little brother. Easy people, things that you could easily toss. Start with the easy ones. So by the time you get to the number 10s and you get to that dumpster fire, you'll be more prepared. But what if that number 10 is something absolutely horrific? Maybe you were attacked. Okay? There's other things you can forgive and not forgive the person. You can forgive the building where it happened. You can forgive the park. You can forgive the road. You can forgive the grass. You can forgive your desk in school. You can forgive your childhood home. You can forgive all of those things, and it's going to lighten up the energy.
All right, ma.
Einstein proved, I have a science chapter in the book, and I also have an audio version on Amazon in case people don't want to read. You can listen to it. Einstein proved that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form, right? So when you get angry, everybody assumes you get angry, it leaves your mouth and it goes out into the universe and it dissipates. It does not. It actually stays in your energy field. So eventually all you can see is the anger because it's hanging around your energy field. So I'm going to have you forgive the person, the energy around the person, and that's the magic. That's the magic sauce right there. Forgiving the energy around the person, forgiving the energy around yourself. That's the magic behind it. You forgive the person, the energy around the person, yourself, the energy around you, and then the energy around the entire thing. Hey, I forgave 1974. I forgave the whole year. Why did I forgive 1974? It was awful. I almost committed suicide. I was in the 8th grade. My world had blown up. So yes, I forgave the bullies. I forgave my parents. It took me a long time to do that. I forgave all the people in 1974, but then I decided since 1974 was a dumpster fire, I was just going to forgive the whole thing. So I forgave the whole year. The world is your oyster, my friend. You can do this, and so can everybody listening. But just start with the easy ones. Whatever horrific, awful person you're thinking of, do leave them for last.
All right, ma. Thank you so much, ma. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad you had the opportunity to open your mind and just let it go. I would like to ask, do you think forgiveness is more about the person who forgives or is more about the person who is already forgiven, ma?
Forgiveness is more about you. Forgiveness is about you as a person because the person that you're mad at is probably not thinking about you at all. They're going around their life. They're not thinking about you. You think they're thinking about you, but they're not. They're going to work. They're eating their dinner. They're just living. They're living their life. Meanwhile, you're at home absolutely livid at whatever they did. Forgiveness is about you. Forgiveness is releasing you because you're the prisoner. You're the one who's in prison, not them. So when you forgive, it's going to cut that invisible cord that's tying from you to that person. So you don't have to think about them anymore because they're the last person you want to be thinking about. They hurt you. And it doesn't mean that what they did was correct. That's not what I'm saying at all. What they did was awful. It means that you just want to be free of the whole darn thing. You want to stop thinking about them. You want to start living your life. You want to get into a relationship. You want to get a new job. You want to start living. You want to become the person that you came to this planet to be. And you can't be that person unless you forgive and you lose the anger. And then as you walk about your day, even if you forgive the easy ones, the ones, the twos, the threes, the fours, I promise you, somebody's going to come up to you and said, something's different about you. What are you doing that's different? You look so good today. Well, you're not doing anything different. The anger has left your body. So your face probably looks better. It looks different. People will notice.
Hmm.
And you're probably talking about something else besides that person, which your friends will appreciate.
That's a very good insight. I like that. Thank you so much, Ma. Um, I also, probably like to ask. Some people used to think of condition, when forgiving someone. You come to someone now, you want to forgive the person. You are saying whether you must not do this or do that if you want me to forgive. Do you think it's proper or is right for someone to put condition in terms of forgiveness?
It means they're still angry. It means if I'm giving you conditions, it means I'm still angry and I haven't forgiven you. And you can meet my conditions and you can jump through a hoop of fire, but I'm still angry because I'm giving you conditions. I'll forgive you if you do this, this, and this. Okay, when they do this, this, and this, are you really gonna stop being angry? Probably not. So, forgiveness is a marathon, it is not a sprint. It's like an onion. When onions have many layers to them and you have to peel off the layers so you can get to the center of the onion. Forgiveness is the same thing. So you're going to forgive somebody, you're probably going to still be angry. So, in 24 hours, I recommend everybody does this before they go to sleep at night because your body heals itself when it's sleeping and the anger is going to have to leave your body. So do it before you go to bed. And you may or may not be able to forgive them on the first pass. So just keep doing it again. And eventually you will get to the center of that onion. And eventually you'll be able to get that number 8 person down to a 6, down to a 4. But if you're giving them conditions, no. And then I had somebody, I'll forgive that old so and so. Yeah, you're still angry. You have to do it again. If you're giving conditions and you're kind of spitting their name, you want to make another pass.
All right, thank you so much.
Forgiveness is total. I mean, you really you want neutrality. You really just don't want to care about the person, and I mean that with all the love in my heart. But you just want to toss them to the side of the road and walk away. That's what you want. That's what you're going for. Don't physically toss them because that means you're still angry.
All right, Ma. I would also like to ask, um, do you think there's any misconception about forgiveness, Ma? Or anyone that you've encountered personally? Do you think there's any misconception about it?
I think the misconceptions of forgiveness is that I have to do it. And if somebody has hurt you, or let's say they killed your father, for example, or one of your siblings, you may not be able to forgive that person. I'm not even sure I could, and I wrote the book on it. But you can forgive other things. You can forgive the building where it happened. You can forgive a lot of other stuff surrounding that horrific event that will actually lighten you up enough that you can move on. Now, it's a very hard thing when you get to those kinds of people, but the misconception is you have to forgive everybody, and in my world you do not, because there's other things that you can forgive and then you can walk away from them. There's some magical people on the planet, my friend, who can forgive those people. I've seen them do it. Not sure I'm one of those people. I'm hoping I'll never have to be one of those people. But if you can't forgive, then give yourself a break. And if you're the person you have to forgive, if you are the number 10 and you can't forgive yourself for whatever it is you've done, give yourself a break, follow the steps in the book, and there's other things you can forgive around that memory. Maybe you can forgive the fact you woke up that day. Not kidding. Maybe you can forgive that it was raining. Maybe you can forgive the building. There's other things you can forgive. And then eventually, if you walk it back, you probably will be able to forgive yourself in the long run.
All right, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. This really takes me back to religious beliefs because how do you think, religious beliefs also influence the, the path of forgiveness, Ma?
There is a passage in the Bible that allowed me to forgive my parents. And I'm not a very religious person, but there's one little passage in there, and Jesus is nailed up on the cross, and he says, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." And if you pick that apart, it what it means is if I'm talking to a 5-year-old child and they haven't learned algebra, I can't get mad at that child because they haven't learned it yet. So at the end of the day, my parents did the best they could with the tools they had at the time. Was it good enough? Absolutely not. But they did their best. And at the end of the day, after a lot of mental gymnastics that went along with that thought, I could forgive them. So forgiveness is love. Forgiveness allows you to become that person you came here to be.
All right, ma. Thank you so much, ma. I would like to just ask generally, when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes to healing in the body and things like that, what advice can you give to the audience generally, ma?
Once you first start to forgive people, you're going to start to feel better. You're just going to start feeling better. Food is going to taste better. Coffee is going to taste better. You're going to start noticing positive things as opposed to always seeing the negative things. So every night before you go to bed, my advice is to write down the 3 things you're most grateful for. It could be that it could be that it was just a beautiful sunny day. That might be the one thing you're grateful for. That's fine. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, and then write down 5 to 7 people you would like to forgive. And remember, I want you to start with the easy ones. And then after you've done this, I want you to pay attention. I want you to pay attention because you're going to notice things. You're going to notice opportunities. You're going to hear things that are going to help you. And you couldn't before because you were angry, but you're going to start noticing. You're going to start noticing little things. So pay attention to the world around you and always, always look at the positive side of life as opposed to the negative. I can dredge up all sorts of negative things if you want me to, but I prefer to look at the positive side of life, and I purposely do it. Being positive is like taking a shower. We kind of recommend you do it every day. And even when I was going through cancer and it was very painful, sometimes being positive is not a day by day thing. Sometimes it's a minute by minute choice. Being positive and forgiving people is a choice. And it's a choice that I purposely made because I wanted to feel better. I wanted to treat people better. I wanted to live my life in a positive, loving way as opposed to the negative. You got this. You can do it.
All right, ma. There's a question I normally ask generally. If there is something you would love to, bring back from the ancestors, from the forefathers, what do you think that thing would be, ma, to our present moment?
Something I would like to bring back.
Yes, ma.
I would like to bring back more kindness. I think back in the past, people were kinder to each other. We didn't have all this negativity from the internet and we're assaulted with all this horrible stuff. And back in the day, there was no internet. You were lucky if you could see it on the news on a television, if you had a television. So I think people were kinder. And I would love to bring kindness back to the world because I think the world needs more kindness and more love.
All right, ma. Firstly, I want to personally appreciate you, ma, for your time and for your efforts for making this meeting a successful one. I want to say thank you so much, ma.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, ma. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, ma. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.